YouTube, and welcome back to old Flads. This is Cubemen 2, and it is a pretty crazy little strategy tower defense type game. Basically what they've done is they've taken the tower defense, they've made it very simple, and then they've added additional game modes as well, and it's actually a ton of fun. Now, as you can see here, this is a Cubeman, and he'll do different things. As you can see, this is Wally, or Wally, should be double L, never mind. We'll call him Wally anyway. He's a wall, and he's a wall unit that just blocks off people. This is Milo, he's a landmine. This is Grill, he's like your basic bot. Anyway, I'm not going to go through them all anyway. Let's just jump straight in and get on with this. Now, this tower defense type game is... It's cheap. It costs, I think, about £5 or something. I can't remember exactly. But what it does offer is just a load of fun. So let's go for the classic orange. We're going to stay in novice, so that I've actually got half a chance of showing you showing you something that isn't completely awful. Now, I've been playing this for about an hour and a half now, so I'm getting a rough idea about it. But what we have to do here is start preparing by pulling out our little bots. And we've got to start preparing for enemy skirmishes. Now, as you can see, this is done across 3 dimensions, where you sort of move in and out and zoom and see what's going on. And it actually adds a... I'm not going to say it adds a unique texture to it, because, I mean, ultimately this game is incredibly simple. But I think it's one of the endearing charms of it, because where its simplicity lies, I'm going to show you a bit later where the sort of complications come from. Now, with all these games, these are strategy games, so you play them for what they are. You don't necessarily play them because they look great, although games like Orcs Must Die, of course, look just fantastic and are tons of fun. I had well over 100 hours in Orcs Must Die. It might even have been 200 hours. So I am a fan of the tower defense game, and they do offer me something that a lot of games can't, and that's genuinely a lot of fun over a prolonged periods of time. Now, you probably have guessed that I quite like Ace of Spades, as you've probably seen. Now, what I'm going to try and do here is sort of create a pathway where they have to go. Now, I don't want to get too sort of ambitious with the pathway, because I don't want to channel them into one area where I'm going to get overrun. So now we've got these additional units. Now, down this side is our list of units, and our blocks, which are over here, as you can see, I've got 47 at the moment. They will allow you to unlock different characters as you move on. Now, the more you upgrade your characters, the bigger the scores you'll get, and obviously the quicker you'll then level up points. It's a little bit like multiplier bonuses, except you just sort of assign it to one individual, and instead of having sort of hit by a grill, then hit by a Sid equals plus 5 points, or plus 5 blocks, as the currency is in this game. So what we're going to try and do is level up a few of these. Come on. Actually, we can probably do with... yeah, that's fine. So let's level him up. Now, each character can go up to a maximum of 3 levels. And once they get to 3 levels, obviously their range and their damage increase. And that's fairly important, especially when you get to the point where you're unlocking things like the sniper rifle. Because the sniper rifles are very important. Now we're going to unleash our big boy. This is Lazo. He's got a laser. And lasers are cool, and I don't care who you are, lasers are cool. Now, this is one of these drops that I need to get, so I need to send one of my grills down there, because they move quite quickly, and he'll go and pick that up for me. Now, these contain various different things, be it damage, bonus upgrades for everyone, that sort of thing, and you have to race against the enemy, because the enemy will try and get them, and if the enemy gets them, they will inflict the damage upon you as well. So as you can see from here, we've sort of got ourselves into a nice little area. These guys have to walk all the way around, and they're also going to get shot by him. Now, once I get up to 70, I'm going to unleash Sid and stick him at the back. So we'll leave our little grill there for the time being. In fact, what we'll do is we'll level him up, and then we'll level these up as well. Now, these will go up to max level. Now, once these are at max level, they don't inflict huge amounts of damage. It's more the persistent damage, and that's sort of the general thing with these tower defense and RTS games, is that whilst the smaller units might seem to be insignificant a lot of the time, you have to be doing persistent damage over a long period whilst channeling the enemy into an area where you're almost comfortable. Now, as we can see, once I've moved up to 60 again, sorry, I'll be able to unlock another Laszlo and put him in here, and then my sort of shape will be ready. What I really want to do is get a Sid in here, but with the range and size of this map, and they do vary a lot, because at the moment a fully maxed out grill can reach most of the way around the map, and that's obviously a huge advantage. And because this is the first level, that's just sort of how I wanted to play it, just so you guys got a chance to look at the basic fundamentals. I mean, tower defense is tower defense. This one's just done a little bit differently. Now what I'm going to do in the next video that I'm going to show you is I'm actually going to move into the other game modes, and I'd also want to show you right at the end of this, I'm going to show you what else you can do, and it is awesome. I mean, from a social aspect, it's an incredibly brilliant idea what they've done, but I'll save that for you in a minute. So we're actually in wave 12. This up here is the wave number, and we need that as well. So we need to send our little grill down here before the enemy get it. This might be a bit of a race if they come out of there. No, okay, little grill, good. Back up there. So that's one of the unique things, because these are human bots, you will move them into areas. Now, I mean, that's nothing new, obviously. These RTS type games have always contained that sort of... how many points? Oh, we're on 111. Okay, so we're going to unleash Sid. And what I need to do first is move this guy, because you can't put them in the same area. And you also can't block off the enemy completely. So it sort of stands to reason, of course, you don't want the enemy just wandering around the circle. They've got to be able to get to the final sort of base point, which is this green bit here. Now, I don't really know the story behind that. It's just home, essentially. And I don't know, you just keep going with it, basically. So we're up to wave 14, and it's going very slowly. It is on novice. This is very simple. But hopefully you've got the idea about this. Now, one good thing about this is you can play 4-player co-op with it. Now, with things like Orcs Must Die, you can play 2-player. But this is 4-player co-op that you can play, and the number of maps is staggering. The number of maps you can have. Right, now this is quite close to the enemy base. I need to get my little dude down here, pick this up. This is actually a damage crane, mega pain, as you can see the label on top. So let's get him back into position. This is for this level. This is a solid defense. I'm in a very strong position. I can level up my Sid now completely. I'm gonna level up my Ricky here. And whilst we're here, we'll also chuck in a Motti. Now what Motti does is he fires mortars, predictably. You can see in here, this will show you, it gives you HP, their rate, their range, their damage. Same for Flint, Larry, all the way through. And each one fires a slightly different weapon with a slightly different damage and speed rate as well. Now that's quite important, because the sniper won't spam at them, whereas the grill units will spam at them. So it depends if you want the balance between having a sniper, as you can see here. If you scroll in and get a bit closer, you have a sniper who will fire high damage rounds but slowly, or we've got the little dudes that will fire low damage rounds but they'll spam them. So that's another thing that you just have to work into your strategy. This, as I said, is a very sound strategy now. I'm virtually undefeatable in this sort of game mode, and there's only 2 rounds left as well. Now once we move into the other maps, because this is so open, this map, it's fairly easy for me just to set up and then just blow everything away. So we're going to chuck out a few more, because we've got the money to. We're just going to chuck out a few more of these grill units. There's only 4 bases that we're having to defend from, and then now you're seeing that the enemy turret is actually attacking us as well. Now on the more difficult levels, that happens a lot earlier on, plus the units are far tougher as well. So your start off point that you thought was considerably comfortable in this gets dramatically more difficult as you move through. Even the early levels, the maps are largely irrelevant. It's the difficulty that really creates the challenge in here. So we've won. That was it. Beautiful. So it's nice to. I'm glad I managed to show you a win, because usually when I do these first impressions, I end up with a loss. Okay, so that's fine. And now in here you've got the various achievements. So I actually complete the Steam achievement there. These are my stats. So these are the mob kills. Killed loads of them. We've got 2, and basically that's as the game works. Now what I want to show you quickly is the social aspect. So these are the maps that you've got. I think there's about 20 there. That's the basic maps, the ones that have been made by the game. Now we move into find more levels. Now this is where I'm really impressed with this, because this is the community built maps. These are all built by other players throughout the world. I mean, this game's only been out for like a week or so, so there's not that many in here, but I mean, we're still looking at I don't know, probably the best part of about 40 different maps. So that makes 60 maps with 3 different difficulties, and they go into varying detail depending on who's made them, how much time has been put into them. So I'll quickly show you one. I'll just show you block 4. Okay, so we'll play block 4. There's no real download as such. I mean, it will take, depending on your internet speed, a couple of a second. So this is actually opportunity to buy it. So we don't want to buy it, so presumably it's a donate. I think it's a bit cheap than people trying to buy them, but mind you, a lot of time goes into these. So as you can see, the level is now dramatically changed. These are teleporters as well, but I'm not going to show you those. We're actually going to exit now because we don't want to go into another game anyway. So you can also design your own level, but we'll go into the map editor later. So hopefully you've enjoyed. This has been Cubemen 2, a very quick, well, I say a very quick, it's actually been quite a long first look. This is a hugely brilliant, well-designed game, very simple in its concept, but ultimately very challenging as well. It'd be nice to see a few of you in here, because if we get some 4-player going, I'm sure this could get really, really fun really, really quickly. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I've been on Flads. Cheers and goodbye.